Welcome. We thank you for listening with us today. We ask that you please stow away and secure all important items. There are no emergency exits. So, just sit back, relax, fasten your earbuds, and enjoy.
Coming to you from sunny Orlando, Florida, this is Funny to Informing.
Welcome. We thank you for listening with us today. We ask that you please stow away and secure all important items. There are no emergency exits. So, just sit back, relax, fasten your earbuds, and enjoy.
Coming to you from sunny Orlando, Florida, this is Funny to Informing.
I needed to eat something before I came here. So
I just shared one of his on my page. I don't know if you can share that or not.
Welcome. We thank you for listening with us today. We ask that you please stow away and secure all important items. There are no emergency exits. So, just sit back, relax, fasten your earbuds, and enjoy.
Live right now, yeah.
Coming to you from sunny Orlando, Florida, this is Funny to Informing.
Is it working? Share it. Yep. All right, welcome to episode 104 of Funny to Informing FTI Live, the fourth one of those, available on twitch.tv or youtube.com/amplified network.
Good call.
And I'm John. That's Chris Pizza Peisenberg Coleman.
And tonight we have a new face sitting in with us.
We do have a guest.
If you look to
What
our
up, what
left, you're right. I don't know. As
I'm
you
somewhere.
Look the
I'm
other,
in this camera.
Yeah,
right
look in the small quadrant to the bottom right as I'm looking in the screen here.
Yeah, yeah, because we and I
Well,
didn't
who is
think
that, though? Who is that, though?
No, that's Coco.
here. What up, guys?
Matt, Coco. I don't know what to call him.
Coco's
either
still
one.
good.
Okay.
Coco
Still works.
I prefer
That's what we
that.
always kind of call him. Yeah, Matt's weird.
Yeah, and because your last name's a mouthful, so I'm not even going to touch that. And
Yeah, from those cat pictures, it looks like you like to take a mouthful.
Meow meow.
we'll get to those cat pictures in a second. Because I didn't know Coleman was going to do what he did there. But yeah, thanks for joining us. You're going to probably, hopefully for the most part, join us once every 4 weeks.
I'm down.
Right? So, and I assume this is the first Thursday of September. I guess it'll be the first Thursday of every month.
Yeah,
Right?
no, heck
Yeah,
I'm
that's
down.
cool. First week of the month.
Recap
yeah,
the previous
sounds good to
month's
me.
football, recap what's going on forward, and just have some fun with you guys.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
it marks our first month doing these lives. This is our fourth episode doing them live.
It is. Yeah, that's
How
true.
do you feel about it so far?
I like it. The lights are a little.
Yeah, the lights are a little something to get used to. I still have the hat bill I can hide behind a little bit. Thank
Yeah,
God.
I'm like a night child. I like being in the nighttime or nocturnal.
Yeah, you got to wear that hat, man. You can't have that reflection coming off.
off
that.
my head.
Yeah.
It's enough of him. He's his own light box. It reflects off of his Irish paleness, and it really fucking helps out. The whole
If I had a basement or something, I would be in there all the time. That's and
Just
said-
to make you even more
Enough
crazy.
said hiding,
Okay.
the,
Yeah.
hiding the bodies.
I'm a
Okay,
vamp.
that's
If I
fine.
had a van with all the blacked out windows as well, I tell you what.
Goals, right?
I do wish tints could be darker. But okay, and we're sitting next to each other, and I didn't think that we could sit closer together than we did before.
We have been previously.
And now
a little bit.
we somehow
This is
beat
the same
that.
table we generally sit. We always sit at, John. We're not that much closer.
It's
But now we
well,
look, we
maybe
can
I
share
should
notes.
scoot
Look,
over.
Here, you get this page, I'll get this page.
Maybe I should scoot over. Yeah, and we do want to talk about the NFL a little bit later on, and then we have Digi Hears, some other news after the NFL
Yeah, we'll
talk.
do some digis. We'll kind of wrap up what we did the last week. Ask Matt what he's been up to.
Yeah.
Last,
Well, because
however
you're
many
going
months since his show collapsed.
Yeah.
and blew up in
No.
Hurricane Dorian up to fucking Asheville.
I think you got our whole two fans that. Oh wait, it was both of you guys. Never mind.
We're both here.
Yeah. We know like we're gonna classify you as our sports guy, but
Sports guy Coco.
But Coleman does have a few questions to see if you are good in
you know your sports,
another area of
and
sports.
I know a little bit about a sport that I feel like you don't know much about.
Yeah, he's gonna ask you questions.
You can talk about your American football, rah, stars and bars, and I'll talk about.
Atlanta Falcons hat.
Well, it's the season kickoff. We're going to get into this, and that's my team. So I felt only right that I rep my team in American football this week. But I'll have some European football questions for you.
Yeah,
So-
yeah. Oh, and did we have a word for like what he's going to say?
Our phrase of the week, guys. Every time you hear this phrase primarily from Coco, but pretty much from anybody, take a drink, take a shot. This will be our word of the week. Coco, I trust that you're gonna honor system, not look.
We're gonna show or say it. Yeah,
No
we're
worries.
gonna say it at the end.
This is our word of the week. Every time you hear this word said, take a drink, take a shot, play along with us. All
Yeah,
right, Coco, you're good, brother.
And,
Thanks for being with us again.
Yeah, hey!
Welcome back. How's your break?
yeah.
Great.
Awesome.
Okay, so I don't know if anybody was able to celebrate for Labor Day at all because of the hurricane that was coming.
The hurricane?
but
That was last week.
Hurricane.
Take a drink just for last week.
Ah.
You like a hurricane.
Oh,
Right off of my head.
yeah, I'll never say it right. I don't care. And coming off of Dorian didn't hit us necessarily, but it was it stayed in the Bahamas for a really long time.
36 hours.
It just sat over the Abacos Islands, the Abacos, whatever
I mean, it
you
just
want
sat
to
over
call
the
it.
entire Bahamas.
Yeah,
pretty much.
because it was that big, covered them all. Yeah.
It completely some of the videos where it was the palm trees were almost completely covered in water. It was completely flooded.
Oh yeah, the
throughout
live
the
video
island.
of people in their houses,
Like
that was
second-story homes,
second
where
story
the whole
homes, and the
bottom was
water's
flooded,
coming up the
yeah.
stairwell and shit.
Oh my
Or the
God.
waves are hitting their
glass
back
balconies?
glass doors, and I'm like,
Yeah.
it's gonna crash through any minute. Like
It's-
fucking sharks are gonna swim in there.
And you guys saw the island picture, right? Where it showed before and then after, where it just showed 75% of the island is just totally underwater now. It just looks like
Oh no, I haven't seen
I didn't
that.
see that.
Yeah,
No, I've just
Oh,
seen the
geez.
I'll pull
devastation
that up
on
for
the
you guys.
ground as far as what was it? Nassau kind of skirted the worst of it, and Freeport got the bad.
Yeah,
end.
Freeport got
I've
wrecked.
seen some aerial shots of Freeport and the Abacos, and it's not good.
Yeah.
Any building that was not a large cement building is no longer really.
And speaking of that, there's a ton of places out there, guys, that are taking donations for all that. So
Good call, man. We were gonna get to that.
yeah,
Actually, yeah.
feel free, but any of your non-perishables that you didn't need from the storm, I don't know. I saw a lot of posts that stores will take them back, and you'll get your money back for them, but they end up throwing all that stuff away, waters, canned goods, stuff like
Yeah,
that.
that's super
Guys,
wasteful. You
just
already
donate
bought
them.
it.
Yeah, just donate them because it's not much money.
And once you go to redcross.org, it's the first donation right at the top. You can just go and click on the donate now button at redcross.org.
Yeah, pretty much. And Red Cross is one of the more reputable ones. That's why I recommended Red Cross, because that's an easy one. They're more reputable. Most of the dollars donated go actually to help people out. They're not usually embroiled in most of the controversies that some of these other charities get involved with. So
I really can't stand some of the people that said because it didn't. Safe to say, Florida got really lucky, and then some people were saying what hurricane was that? I didn't see a hurricane. Hurricane. No, there wasn't one in
Holy
my
shit.
face. Screw that. Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Bahamas.
Coco's
And-
showing us
and
a
the
satellite
Bahamas would say
imagery
otherwise.
of how much land is left.
So it's pretty much
And how much
75%
is
underwater.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
and right
wild.
now it's right by where the Carolinas are. And,
Yeah, it's moved up
ma-
the coast.
And
Yeah.
it's back up to a Cat 3 too, from what I last saw. So
Yeah, making
Well,
landfall over there.
When it made landfall in the Bahamas, it was tied for the record
185 miles an hour, gust
185.
over 200.
first
full
one
Cat
to hit
5.
land since 1934. Back then, it was called Hurricane 3 because they didn't name them that long ago. That hit the west coast.
No, that
of
was actually a
Florida.
kid's name. They just,
100 oh,
kid
3?
1, kid 2,
Three,
kid 3. They,
yeah.
they
In
didn't
the
name them
30s,
back
One,
then.
thing two, thing three. It was a shout out to Dr. Seuss, wrecking shop in the west coast of Florida. But yeah, 185 miles an hour. It's ravaged down there. I'm glad you brought up, donate. definitely if you can help out, go help out.
Especially for a record-breaking hurricane.
When we release the podcast on Friday tomorrow, we'll put a link in the description right in there, so you can just click on that. If you go to through iTunes or wherever you go to listen to your podcast, you can click right through the link, and it'll take you to donate. Yep.
Yeah,
just give a couple bucks.
Exactly, and it kind of was during Labor Day, Labor Day weekend, and the only thing, because I didn't it kind of.
So you partied hard, huh?
No, it probably prevented a lot of people. Well, some people do their hurricane parties.
Hurricane parties.
Their hurricane parties.
Hurricane parties. And I mean, it's an excuse to get drunk, in the middle of a hurricane when you're hunkering down, or to get together with a friend or go across the street to a neighbor's house.
There ain't a dude in his American flag boxer standing in the middle of the street holding the American flag during a Category 3.
And if it's not meme worthy, I ain't fucking with it.
And I feel like Labor Day, is like where everybody should be cooking, hamburgers and hot dogs on the grill,
grilling out. It's kind of like the
or,
wrap up of the summer.
And it kind of shit on that.
You can't wear white after Labor Day.
Yeah,
so.
But
watch out! I'm calling you out.
Jesus.
People were upset about that. It's like, how minuscule of a problem is that compared to what just went on in the Bahamas? Or
Well, I know Seminole Orange County canceled schools
pretty much half the week.
Yeah, Tuesday, Wednesday. So my kids just went back today.
Yep.
Which in turn, got to take off some work. Make sure you're watching the kids.
A lot of people were out of just kind of work. A lot of businesses were closing down.
And just like I-4 today coming home. Like I got to take I-4, and it was so much.
It was worse than
easy.
Another day. Oh, it was easy.
No, it was easy today. Like it almost was
worse than any other day.
Well, it was almost like summer vacation where the roads are a little bit less hectic because all the kids are out of school, so no teachers are in school. So it's just less overall traffic.
Full disclosure, I did really enjoy the days off that I got.
Shit, right?
Of course.
I worked both of them, so fuck yourself.
Hey, look, my company takes care of people, and we got paid for the days off without having to use our sick time.
Nice.
It was great.
You see, and with minimal damage.
Not so much.
we were. Florida was the lucky one in this way, and supposedly there's more swirling out there in the Atlantic. It's like Gabrielle. Or something.
Yeah, but I think they're saying that one's just going to veer off quick. So I don't think there's anything a threat currently coming.
Yeah, well, I mean, 'tis the season for it.
We live in Florida. There's always a threat.
Well, and as we know based on these
season.
and as we know based on these hurricane predictions over the last week, they don't know anything.
Yeah, no shit.
Nah, nope. And so we mentioned the cat photo that I had took. It's in the group page on Facebook. I'm calling that
Cat 5 Gayacane, featuring John Hennon.
Yes, speaking of cat. And I guess you had started a giveaway that we're going to be doing over the weekend here.
Yeah, we'll just let Sunday. It wrap up. We'll do it this week.
Yeah.
I was bored. The hurricane didn't kill us. Not to make light of it, because it did kill people.
We need to replace the Cat 5 on with John's
I like
picture.
it. He's got a new name for us. But yeah, so, and I felt like what better way to get a little bit of interaction. I thought that photo was the most captionable photo I could come up with. It's in the Facebook group, Funny Informatives.
It's definitely not a catastrophe.
It's catastrophic if you look at it. It'll wreck your day. But so yeah, I thought it was perfectly captionable, and I figured I'd just go in there and drop the photo. And I had my own caption. I wanted to share my own caption. We call it cattion in this case. Though.
You know what really worries me is like when big storms come through, a lot of people hunker down, get together, and what normally happens 9 months later, babies start springing the way.
Right.
If that cat doesn't come out with some John-looking babies in 9 months,
shit. I don't think cats gestate for 9 months.
Then it's
less time, so we'll be just looking down the road. If there's like a Garfield John Hannon hybrid, A, I'm killing myself, and B, kill yourself too. I highly recommend.
I was thinking about telling you guys like what I got into during while we were hunkered down, not moving, leaving our house, but I'm not even going to go into it anymore.
Wow.
It's going to be setting you guys.
I don't want to hear about your
much.
bestiality.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Because that's.
Wait, did you put on your furry costume? Did you have a furry costume? Did you go full furry with the cat?
No. Just the handcuffs were furry.
Wow.
Sorry.
Wow. Okay. Sam.
No.
Shout out to you.
Yeah, but
so sorry.
Sorry, and proud you had a good weekend. I don't know which way to swing on that.
And I don't think
he was talking about Sam
babies.
though.
Oh, okay. Who were you with?
No, I was with
Look at him backstepping quick.
and my cat and the cat.
Yeah. I thought he was referencing the cat with the handcuffs. I don't know.
John got that cat.
It's 5 of them. Okay, so and then the one thing I wanted to get to before we turned it over to the sports and to Coco is you had made a TV appearance or like a little cameo, just a little bit on Restaurant Impossible with Robert Irvine.
Restaurant Impossible.
Restaurant Impossible. Yeah, but we had mentioned it. It was on Food Network. It just premiered this last Saturday, I believe, the 31st.
Yeah.
And we had talked about it last week. Told you it was coming up, and then people definitely watched it. And I just had little bitty pieces in there, just video.
Right at the end,
there was no talking. Yeah,
right at
Tossing
the end.
the pizza pie.
Dude, it's so funny because I'll say this: they shot that show. It took up, man, that thing really, like, it was so much work to get ready for that show. Just cleaning the restaurant. Not that the restaurant's not clean, but there's going to be cameras, so you know what I mean. You're deep cleaning. You're doing nooks and crannies and wiping down walls, and you know what I mean, like everything, because it's going to be on camera. It shut down the restaurant for half of the day. They spent 75% of the day filming and doing all these little set pieces of them cooking in the kitchen and just getting like B-roll film and stuff like that, and then made it like it was this like long drawn out thing, like the whole thing was going to be an hour of us doing our thing and them cooking and all that, and they actually spent like 75% of the show throwing back to the old show that they did 4 years ago.
Yeah, that's what I noticed.
And then they were like, okay, well, and they showed a little bit of Denny cooking in the kitchen.
They showed pre-Robert Irvine food Denny and then post-Robert Irvine food Denny.
That was hilarious, man. I'm sorry, Denny. I love you, bro.
I love you too, buddy, but that was awesome.
Yeah, he owes the apology.
Hey, man. Hey, I'm right there. This is never met Robert Irvine food.
He's getting plenty of Tornator food.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Maybe not anymore.
But
That's so funny.
Yeah, so long story short, we did all that work and they did all that filming and we busted all of our asses and everybody did all this work filming and shooting and holding cameras and being in front of cameras and setting up lights and all this. And then it was literally out of the show 5 minutes, 8 minutes of the show at the end.
That's where I was
The rest of it was just pretty much Denny like this, sitting in front of a camera, watching the footage on a monitor, and them asking him, "Oh, do you remember? What do you feel about this? What do you remember about this day? What about this?" And he would just kind of harken back on his memories from that first episode.
Yeah,
that
that's
was
why
pretty much the first 80% of the show.
Oh, 45 minutes to 50 minutes of it.
Yeah.
And then right at the end, they slipped it in, like, and I'm glad I stuck
us actually cooking and the chefs cooking and me tossing us a pizza. And,
I'm just mad I wasn't on TV.
What's that?
Mad I wasn't on TV.
Nope. It was funny.
Coco went in there
they made it seem like, all right, we're gonna.
as a test
It was
taster.
funny because I watched it just a little behind the scenes, and I watched it back, and like they had the little section before the end where Denny's cooking one of the signature dishes in the kitchen for Robert to eat, and Robert tastes it, and he gives him shit, and then he's like, "No, I'm just kidding. I like it. It's great. Good work. Blah blah blah." Now we're gonna fill your restaurant, and you guys are gonna go at it. And Denny's like, "What? Right now?" And he's like, "Right now." And they walk away, and it goes to commercial. That shit was filmed at like 2 PM or some shit, or 1 PM. And then we actually sat people at like 6:45, 7 o'clock at night. And, obviously the magic of television editing, you know what I mean? But it was like, it definitely made it seem more dramatic. But that's what I'm saying. It was so drawn out and everybody did so much work, even to include myself, like not even on camera. We just had to like, oh, you can't be in this area right now. So there was long periods of the day where we're all standing out back smoking cigarettes and shit.
And Chef
because we can't be inside because they're filming, or we need to be off camera and keep it quiet. Oh man,
Chef Irvine said that this was like one of his favorite episodes to do.
Yeah, like top 3, I think he said.
Yeah,
it was his first ever ambush show.
He said top 3, and he said favorite ever ambush.
Yeah,
show.
and the first one they ever did.
See, and 20
I think it was his highest viewed too, right?
Huh?
I think it was one of his highest viewed episodes ever too, because it was the first ever
that could
ambush.
very well be, dude. I'll tell you this: people call after that shit airs. People call and people come by. Already, Denny's been called to the front like 3 times for fans to be like, "Oh, hey, I saw your episode. Oh, I wanted to meet you. We came in from this part of town, or we're visiting from this state and wanted to come here." Like, it definitely is a giant advertisement for the restaurant. And he gets emails. He got a random email from somebody he doesn't know, who just, I guess, figured out his email. I don't know how they found his email, but he got a random email from somebody. It might have come to Food Network, and Food Network forwarded it to him, saying that they were in love with somebody on the show, and he seems like the sweetest man ever, and I want to meet this man, and blah blah blah. Yeah. And if he's single, I'll come from this other state that I'm in, and I'll come and I want to meet him.
I am trying to think who was on that show long enough to.
Well, it might have been the first episode too, because remember they showed 80% of the show was a throwback to the old show.
Yeah, but even looking at the first show, there really wasn't anybody.
We don't have to dig into it. I don't know if it wants to be brought to light, but that's why I'm keeping it vague. But that's my thing. Is it definitely is far-reaching, and people definitely notice and shit like that. I got a random post. I expected a few posts from friends who I'd been sharing it on the show and shit, so I expected a handful of people like Coco to send me screenshots and shit like that, which I did get. And then, but one of my friends in Atlanta, who I don't think listens to the show, he's not really a podcast guy, just a couple days after, on Monday or Tuesday after the show aired, posted and tagged me in it. Oh, I didn't know you were basically a reality TV star now.
Oh yeah, jeez. Oh, and somebody made a GIF of you, like Eric.
That was funny. A fellow News Junkie fan. Friend of mine
made a GIF,
made a post, and then I made a GIF immediately of me throwing a pizza dough in the air. So it's like dough coming up, dough coming down, dough coming up.
Well,
yeah, it was like boomerang. Yeah.
And there's a huge culture of people though that actually kind of like follow these Food Network like places where they go from like diners, drives, and dives to
Triple D!
Restaurant Impossible to all these places that when they do their
I'm a huge
vacations, when they do these vacations though, they plan on like they look and see what's in the area that has been on the Food Network show that I need to go try.
Yeah.
And the fact
Why
that you're in
not?
Orlando,
It's
you're
already
30
got
minutes
that
away from
glowing
Disney.
recommendation, right?
Yeah. No, that's
It
true.
definitely
too.
brings people in, and they know, Denny speaks about being from upstate New York, so people are always in there talking about you. You've seen it. You're in there enough. People, you're from upstate. Where are you from? I'm from this place. Oh yeah, my dad knew somebody.
And
in
then
that
Denny
town,
says he's a Redskins fan and loses all credibility from his New York
he's
fans.
like,
And they
Oh
go,
my God.
how? What? And he explains it, and they're like, that's fine. And then he goes, fuck you. The Giants suck too. And they're like, all right.
No, yeah, but I don't know. It's like
Your mother. There's a lot of that. What's up, bro?
It is a huge common interest, though, and you'd be surprised how many people just like pop on the Food Network and have it on in the background without even like paying attention. Like for those like the few that use cable TV, will for the most part like have either the Food Network or something for their kids on TV.
My last comment on this, that was probably one of the funniest things, is like Robert Irvine correcting him on like saying like, hey bro, and stuff like that, going out there, and I'm like that's all he calls me when I walk in the door.
I know he still does it. He reverted right back because that's Denny. Yeah. Everybody recognizes that. He definitely is like, come on, man. There's Robert Irvine's like, there's a culture, an ethical culture of service. I can't do English, but that's not what he sounds like at all. But he talks about, don't call people bro and man and dude. It's, like they're your guests and yada, yada, yada in the first episode. And then I've been there for 2 years and Denny's always been, what's up, bro?
Yeah.
What's up, bro? And like, at the most formal he gets is like, here's the thing. It's so funny. If he can't remember your name, or you're a little older and he doesn't want to call you bro, he wants to be a little more respectful, you'll come in and he doesn't want to say, hey, what's up, Matt? Like forgot your name. Hey, my best good friend. How you been, man?
Oh, that's old Italian
too, if he knows that too. Hey, Coco, my best good friend.
See, if he ever got rid of saying like, what's up, bro, when you walk in, it would go from Tornatore's Pizzeria to Tornatore's Fine Italian Dining.
Oh, yeah?
Like, I think it would switch. The what's up, bro, is what keeps it a pizzeria.
Nah. We don't pretend to be anything we're not.
Yeah, oh well. Okay, okay, so what we're going to be doing next is getting into the
I'll give a shout out to all the live viewers right now.
Okay,
we got some action in the chat room.
Bluegill's
in there, of course,
Mr.
immediately.
Bluegill.
Rob said yilly yilly. Cheers to yilly yilly Rob.
Cheers, Rob.
Rob knows the catchphrases.
Well, both of them are named
her.
Rob, essentially.
Natalie, I don't know you, but I appreciate your viewing. She says it was a hurricane.
Oh,
I like that.
That's what
I like
it was.
that phrase for the time off.
Yeah.
School and work. I didn't have a hurricane, so I'm glad you guys all enjoyed it.
I did.
You jerks.
It was great. And
and Jana. Hey, Jinx, you owe me a
yilly. Beer. Fuck.
I win. If you're keeping track at home, that's me 1,000, John 2.
I think I got 1 or 2 in there before in the past. But okay, so
where are we going next, John Hannon?
Yeah, I was going to
lead this show.
Turn it over to Coco to start the.
Oh, cool. Let's let him lead the
sports
show.
bit. Yeah. Well, and
do we have a name for this? Play that intro. Oh, we don't have that either. Oh shit. Okay, we'll get our shit together.
Coco's correctness, because he's always correct.
Coming correct with Coco.
Coming incorrect with Coco.
Whoa, let's
in Coco. Let's just shorten that to coming in Coco and go.
How did I make it?
What do you got for us, sports guy?
What do you mean? How did you make it weird? You make everything weird, J Bones.
All right. Yeah.
And the hefty 2-piece over there. Okay.
Wow, he's got all the old school throwback references.
Wow.
J Bones hefty 2-piece.
Okay. Yeah.
That should have been the catchphrase of the week.
That is an old one.
Maybe soon. Soon.
But okay, so this for the most part might not all the time be so saturated with the NFL, but it is week 1 of the season.
It is opening night.
Yeah, opening night. The Bears and Packers are playing.
Bears-Packers playing at Soldier Field tonight. It is an epic rivalry going into the millennial anniversary of the Chicago Bears. 100 years they have been around. It's one of the oldest rivalries, not only in sports but in NFL.
Anniversary for the Bears.
For the Bears, I think the Pack is 101, so they celebrated their 100 last year. Yeah, so it's two of the oldest teams.
Beginning 8 teams.
Yeah, I was quizzing Coleman on the first 8 original teams.
Bro. I should have known.
Yeah, it was a difficult question at the same time.
Seattle Seahawks.
Yeah.
For the win.
Yeah.
So I'll make the general reference right here. Is the team that I follow the most, team that I'm a fan of, is the Chicago Bears. Family from Chicago and everything like that. So obviously there's a little bit of bias in this pick for me, which I will state credited. But the line coming into the game is -3, Chicago Bears. So Packers are getting 3 points this game, coming into the game with a new coach.
That's barely a difference.
It's normally what they say is normally the home team gets about a 2.5 point advantage from being the home team to swing it. So they're almost calling this a pick'em game in that regard. But the reason that I kind of really like the Bears is you got Trubisky and Matt Nagy coming into their second year. Trubisky being the quarterback for the Bears, Matt Nagy being the head coach. You got an offensive line that is still put together, same offensive line they had last year. Dominant defense returning. Now they did lose Vic Fangio.
Julius Peppers? Is he still there? I really don't know.
No.
I'm just naming names.
So Khalil Mack is one of the top defensive players in the league. He actually got a full off season with the team. Remember last year they played week 1 as well too, and they had just gotten Khalil Mack, and he really didn't get a training camp underneath him. He really didn't have fresh legs, but he still came out and wrecked havoc for the majority of that game. He just kind of died off towards the end. He's ready to go this year, as well as the rest of that defense. You got the rookie Roquan Smith, who was their first round draft pick last year, middle linebacker, who really learned and picked it up, came on and played lights out towards the end of the season. So now he's got a full year in. He was the last first round pick to sign last year, so he didn't get a full training camp coming into the season. So that defense is ready and raring to go. My biggest playmaker, though, for this game is going to be Allen Robinson. The wide receiver actually used to be
He's getting old, though.
He's 25.
No,
I was going to say he's old. I've never heard of him.
Maybe not him.
So,
who am I thinking of? Nate Robinson?
Yeah. So Allen Robinson was the Jacksonville Jaguars receiver for a few years. The Bears ended up signing him coming off an ACL. He tore his ACL.
Our producer likes some Jacksonville.
Here you go.
Sorry.
So he tore his ACL. The Bears ended up signing him to a 3-year deal. So he was kind of coming off of that last year. He played really well towards the end of the stretch, especially in a playoff game against John's Eagles. I believe it was like 9 catches, 145 yards, and a touchdown. He really disrupted that team, and I think he's going to carry that over this year with all the weapons that the Bears do have. They really don't have that big standout player. I think he's going to kind of take that step up this year because he showed it with Blake Bortles as quarterback that he could be a 1,000-yard receiver getting 10 touchdowns in a year. And he's still young enough that I think he's really going to do that this year.
Because like what I want to do with you is I have like little slots here, and I'm going to write them down as you predict them. Not just yet, but
we want your picks.
I want your divisional. Start thinking about it now.
Conference.
For who's going to win each one?
Yeah, who's going to win each division? Then who's going to win the conferences to play each other in the Super Bowl, and who's going to win it ultimately?
And we're going to keep up with it. John's going to keep this scrap of paper. This tactile scrap of paper.
I'll try to not lose it.
He's going to fold it so small that it fits in a thumb drive. He's going to fold it to a tiny origami thumb drive and then keep it in a glass box that says break in case of football emergency.
But yeah, this game will be intense tonight. I think it will be really good. I actually
starts at 8 o'clock?
I think 8:30 maybe.
8:30.
Yeah, I think 8:30. But
so after this show,
watch
some football.
Watching some football.
And I know
it's of the devil, Bobby.
And I know from even the beginning when you were saying what the spread was pretty much and I know you were saying you put money on this game. How much do you gamble?
Whoa, let's not talk about illegal things on the podcast.
Not like how much money, but
he also smokes weed and deals drugs.
Yeah, well,
let's just put it all out there.
When you're talking about spreads, you obviously put your, you and.
Spread is Vegas, and let's be honest, sports gambling is actually becoming more precedent now. It's
you can a lot of states. Online. There's a lot of advertised betting.
You can. Florida is not a state you could do that in though. Legally.
Is it not?
No, Florida is not. You cannot do it legally.
Advertised on Florida radio all the time.
You could do it on like the Victory Casino cruise lines when you go out to sea and stuff.
International waters, right?
But you cannot do it on land. So online you can do like where you're picking the players, so like DraftKings, things like that.
Okay.
But you have to be like New Jersey, Connecticut, Las Vegas, and a few other states. I'm just not off the top of my head familiar with. Those states all have it, and last year was actually the first year that Las Vegas did not have the highest return on investment for their sports betting. That actually came from New Jersey. New Jersey actually made more money on sports betting.
Atlantic City, yeah. Wow.
Yeah. So not just Atlantic City, but like, a lot of the other like outlying casinos, there was just for online primarily, because like DraftKings, things like that, you can actually sports bet on those. And from areas out there,
so not to say that you bet on them, but do you look at the spread to just to see who the favorite is? Who's just favorite?
I look at the spread, and it's like, look, I'll throw down like friendly bets with like my friends and stuff like that based on the spread.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I do that way too often.
But like looking at the spreads, and I've gone through a few of them this week. There's some big spreads this week, and the Bears only being favored by 3, and again, Probably a little bit of favoritism. I actually see the final score coming out tonight as like 35-13 Chicago over Green Bay.
Wow,
I think Chicago's defense
dominating win.
I think
3
Chicago's
touchdowns.
defense comes out and really just smacks Green Bay in the face. I think Green Bay with a new coach, with Aaron Rodgers coming off injury, and besides Devontae Adams, really no proven playmakers on that team.
Yeah.
Like I think it's going to be a struggle with that Chicago. The Chicago's defense is quick and fast, and Rodgers is good, and I hate Green Bay, but Rodgers is a really good quarterback. But I think the Bears are going to get after him, and I think it's going to help settle down the Chicago offense, and Chicago's just going to be dominant.
Bears have always been known for a stout defense and a defensive line, right? They still have one,
for
right?
the first game of the season too. It's a pretty good one, and I really.
It's the Thursday night kickoff.
So they've been doing the games on Thursdays now, so it's I don't even know how I feel about that because now it used to be just Sundays and then Mondays, and now it's
now it's Thursdays, and then
Thursdays,
after college
Sundays,
football
Mondays.
wraps up, they'll throw in some Saturday games just to round out the schedule.
I mean, I'll tell you what, though, it's good for the Bears and Green Bay because now they got 10 days off for their next game the following Sunday. So,
for sure.
like, coming into it, you get to play, you get to heal up after, getting banged around a little
back
bit.
into playing's got to be.
Yep. But then, that's the big other controversy is having the regular Thursday night games throughout the season.
Unless you're that team that plays like a Monday night game or a Sunday game and then have to play Thursday the next week.
Yeah, but I mean, there's give and take though. Is you go from Sunday to Thursday, but then you don't have to play again to the following Sunday, or maybe that Monday, or maybe even have a bye week. So now you're getting that extra time coming off. So it's a shorter prep week, but then a longer bye week to get ready. So it's give and take on both, which I kind of see the argument on both, but. Look, the NFL is about making money, and that's why they're talking about going to like an 18-game season.
Well, it's definitely something we can definitely put on the agenda to talk about in a future show. But yeah, they're wanting to add another game possibly into every season.
Game or two, yeah. Take away 2 preseason games, add up to 2 more games.
Well, they've been changing the equipment a lot, which is why Antonio Brown, the Raiders,
Helmet
was having
gate.
his big standoff with the
he's going to get released
helmets.
and go star in It 3
That's old
because that
news
dude's a
now,
clown.
though. The helmet shit's old news. That's
not that
secondary
old.
bitch.
So today he came out that he actually got in a fight with the general manager.
Yeah, breaking news. Did you hear?
That in front of the entire team was threatening to literally beat his ass. Like he had him pinned against the wall, was ready to like throw down with him. And the Raiders are talking about not only suspending him, but now there's rumors that they might be trying to cut his contract altogether, where they can recoup that $30 million
It's a good
guarantee.
thing Al Davis
and
is
get rid of him.
still a living sack of bones because he would have broken that old man.
Oh Jesus!
If you grabbed up Al Davis, disintegrate into a puddle of skin.
Okay, so I wanted to get your predictions because
We'll
we're
get his predictions
we're
and
not
then-
going to see you in for 3 weeks.
Somebody in
No.
chat that doesn't usually watch the show just fell into watching the show. Said she's going to stick around and keep listening because she needs to know about some draft picks. So we'll talk a little about fantasy, maybe.
Yeah,
If you guys want. I know you just drafted. I know Matt's in a couple
I've
leagues.
got a couple leagues. Feel free to send any questions in if you have. I'm more than happy to help to answer them.
Yeah. Because
let's-
I drafted terribly for my fantasy.
We were
I'm
at the
just-
bar. He was driving down the street. Oh shit! My draft started.
That's
3
exactly
minutes after the draft, he
that's
picked
exactly
his
how it
first
happened.
pick while we parked outside the bar.
And
That's how John and I roll.
I was like half paying attention, half not, and then I fell off the wagon. I didn't feel good about my picks after that. If you're playing fantasy, pay attention when you're drafting. Jeez.
Yeah, step one.
Okay, so Coco, who do you think is going to win? We'll start with the NFC South.
All right, so the NFC South, you have Atlanta, New Orleans, Tampa, and Carolina, which to me is one of the most stacked divisions in the NFL.
It perennially has been for a while.
And
the
well-
NFC South is usually a stacked division.
Well, one of the biggest
They
thing with
usually
them
at least got
too
two
is
good teams.
there was 7 or 8 years in a row that no same team won that division. I think New Orleans broke
Yeah.
it last year by winning it 2 years in a row.
A lot of parity, as they call it. Sports phrase.
I really think New Orleans is probably going to win it again this year. Drew Brees is still playing very solid. Michael Thomas got his new contract. Kamara
He's
gets
so
it.
old.
They're taking the brakes off of Kamara this year. They don't have Mark Ingram anymore. That defense I think has improved a little bit more. It's really going to be who's going to be that secondary receiver for New Orleans.
New Orleans.
But I like New Orleans. But Atlanta I really think is going to be very close and is going to compete for that division title as well. I
We
think
could
Cam
take
Newton
the
falls
title.
apart.
We'll just choke in the big show.
Yeah, I mean, make
That's
the
the
playoffs,
Patriots.
and then
Well,
What was it? What was it? 28-3?
28-3.
28-3?
23
no, it was
28-3?
28-3.
28-3.
And then they blew it.
You should get
How
that
did I
tattooed
forget
on your
that
arm
number?
because that's the closest you'll ever get to a Super Bowl.
I did not.
Yeah,
Fuck you.
that must have been heartbreaking. Okay, and then NFC North.
All right, so the NFC North, Chicago, Detroit, Green Bay, and Minnesota. This to me has 3 teams that could all be perennial, could win the division.
You're ruling out Detroit.
I'm ruling out Detroit. Detroit, I think, is in rebuild mode. I wouldn't be surprised. I actually wouldn't be surprised.
They still got Stafford up there?
They still do have Stafford.
Is he starting and shit?
Stafford is starting. I mean, he's still a very solid quarterback.
Megatron, that's a thing still?
Megatron retired.
Yeah,
a couple years ago.
Early retirement.
So one of the biggest things is I actually think, and I'm going to throw a kind of a bold prediction here, is I do think that Detroit falls behind very early this season, although I did pick them to win week 1 against Arizona, but I think after that they kind of fall apart. I think a very competitive team loses their starting quarterback this year, and I think you see Matt Stafford get traded for a second and a fifth or a third and a fourth round pick this year to a team that needs that wants to go for it
for him.
Well, it's got to be full rebuild mode for Detroit. They cannot compete in this division right now.
Yeah. Well, and the Vikings have been getting more and more serious.
Yeah,
and obviously the Packers are always relevant.
So I think the Packers actually finished 3rd in this division. I think it really comes down between Minnesota and Chicago. I think it'll be right instead of last week or two.
Who's Minnesota's quarterback?
Kirk Cousins. But they have 2 perennial like Pro Bowl receivers and Stephon Diggs and Adam Thielen. Kyle Rudolph is a great tight end if Cook, the running back, is healthy this year, and they really do have a good defense. So like all around, it's a really good team. It's that offensive line that's got to come together. For them.
Is Minnesota winning that division?
Chicago's going to win that division.
Chicago,
yeah, Chicago. I got a homer pick it. I do think Chicago wins that division. I do think it'll be close. It can go either way, but it's all determined on Trubisky's growth this year, in my opinion.
Okay. The NFC East.
NFC East, you have Dallas, the Giants, Philadelphia, and Washington.
Yeah.
We can really rule 2 of those teams out, the Giants and Washington right now.
Oh, good. He didn't say the Eagles.
Yeah.
Okay.
I do think the Eagles are going to have a very, very good team this year. Offensive, you guys are stacked with weapons. Alshon Jeffries, I think, is going to have a comeback year this year a little bit. He's got to stay healthy. It determines on Carson Wentz's health. Do you know who your backup is right now?
No.
So they actually signed Josh McCown off of coaching a high school football team, which he is still going to do during the season, serving as your backup. So
I feel like he's been doing this forever. Josh and then his brother Luke McCown.
That could be a landing spot for Matthew Stafford when Wentz goes down.
Yeah, well, that's true.
So just keep an eye on that. They'd have to free up some cap room, but I think that could possibly be a possibility.
The Eagles were working towards getting Melvin Gordon.
For Jordan Howard, come on, come on, that's not going to happen.
No,
that's not going to happen. So, but I mean, you guys do have a really good stable of young running backs. You have a young rookie on top of Jordan Howard, and your receiving core. You went and got Deshaun Jackson in the offseason. So you do have some guys that can stretch the field. Plus Ertz, and then who's your second tight end? I'm drawing a blank.
Burton. Used to be Burton. Goddard.
Yeah, Goddard, I think, is going to step up big this year as well, too. I'm going to take Dallas, though. I'm really going to take Dallas to win that division with Ezekiel Elliott coming back, signing the contract.
Top paid running back in the league.
It's that offensive line and that defense that Dallas has, I think, is really what's going to make the difference for that team. As Eagles do have a good offense and a good defense, but I think Dallas's defense is top 5 in the league. I think they're top 3 for their offensive line in the league for Dallas. And I think with Cooper getting a full season playing with them, being able to stretch the field, and believe it or not,
that's true. He's going to make a huge difference.
Jason Witten coming back, just being in a safety net, although he's 35, 36 years old, but being that safety net over the middle, even the last 4 years of his career, he really hasn't been.
He's going to break something this year. He's really pushing his limits.
Unretire.
But you got to remember too, Dak is playing for a contract. He's one of the few people that did not get the big contract in the offseason. So Dak is playing for his big money right now. So with Zeke getting his money, Zeke's got to prove it. I know there's a lot of incentives in his contract, so it's not just the flat 90 that he's getting. There's a ton of incentives about him staying healthy, playing all his games, hitting certain yardage markers. So it's not that he can get his money and say, "Fuck you guys, I'm done." No, he's got to go out there and bust his ass.
A lot of it is about the bonus.
Yeah, you can say, "Fuck you guys."
Yeah, he's had.
I got kids, all right.
Bleep you guys.
I hope they're not listening to this.
Okay, NFC West.
NFC West, Chargers, Arizona, San Francisco, and Seattle. Pretty cut and dry here, or not the Chargers, but the Rams. The Rams are going to take this one.
I think so too. Yeah,
they just have a very good defense. They made a couple key acquisitions. They lost Ndamukong Suh, but they did pick up Clay Matthews, who's a little bit older, but I think he's still solid veteran leadership for that middle linebacking spot. They also picked up Eric Weddle on their defense.
Would you
as well
believe
too.
I wrote St. Louis Rams as if they're still in St. Louis?
Wow.
I'm an idiot.
That's a throwback.
Los Angeles Rams.
So Los Angeles Rams.
You didn't write Arizona Cardinals. That's a double throwback.
Plus what's huge is you kind of saw their offense tailor off a little bit towards the end of last year with Gurley having some injury issues. I think Gurley will be all right. I think they got some okay backups for running back as well too. But the biggest thing was they lost Cooper Kupp about halfway through the season last year, and you really kind of saw Goff start not hitting the same numbers he was earlier in the year. I think with Kupp coming back gives him 3 extremely valuable
rushing
weapons.
Yards when he had to run like hell to get out of them.
But now he's
getting open.
He's got 3 very valuable weapons right now for offense, and I think between Woods, Cooks, and Cooper Kupp, that's going to be another potent offense that they're going to put up some good numbers this year.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Cooper Kupp, is that what you drink a Moscow Mule out of? It was a copper mug.
That's a copper mug.
My bad.
Okay, we got 15 minutes, just a few more things to get to, but
I'll run through them quick.
Let's raffle through the AFC East.
AFC East, New England, Miami, Buffalo, and the Jets. Miami actually got released by
Benny and the Jets.
So
Miami.
Breaking news! I heard Miami actually. The NFL just put Miami on waivers. They're going to sign with either the XFL or the CFL. No, I'm joking.
They're just news. Miami is swept away by Dorian.
Tank for Tua is in full effect. Tank for Tua Tagovailoa. I totally messed that up. But the Alabama quarterback, they definitely want him next year. Buffalo, I think, makes some improvements. I see them at least at a 500 team, maybe 9-6.
The Jets just got Le'Veon Bell.
Jets got Le'Veon Bell. They got some other offensive weapons. Biggest thing is their defense, I think, is going to be dominant this year. If their offensive line holds together, this is going to be my upset pick. I think the Jets win the division this year.
Really?
They upset New England this year. The Jets come out. I think
anybody but New England.
I think Sam Darnold takes that step this year. They got a lot of solid weapons. They got no big name receiver, but they got enough solid weapons for Darnold to throw to. With Le'Veon Bell coming back hungry, I think he got that contract. Again, laid an incentive. He needs to hit his markers to make all that money. And he wants to prove a point that he is the best running back in the league and that he held out for a reason. So, I mean, Brady's getting a little bit older without Gronkowski. The receivers, you do have Julian Edelman, but pretty much after Edelman, I mean, when's the next time that Josh Gordon's getting suspended? You know, their first-round draft pick, they just put on IR, rookie wide receiver Neal. So they re-signed Demaryius Thomas, but he's coming off a bad injury. I just don't see it holding together for them, and they've had offensive line issues all preseason with a lot of guys getting hurt. I just see
the only way
Brady's
going to stay alive. You know.
Yeah. So they lost their starting center, which has been Brady's starting center for the last 5 years. So they really have a connection.
Okay. Who do you got for the AFC West?
All right, so AFC West, we're talking Denver, Kansas City, Oakland, and the Chargers. It's going to come down to Kansas City and the Chargers this year. I'm actually going to go with the Chargers over Kansas City this year. I think this is the last big year for Phillip Rivers really to kind of take that step. I think they're going to have something to prove with Melvin Gordon pretty much kind of brushing that team off. To me, he hasn't earned a huge paycheck yet. He's had some good seasons, but he hasn't been able to stay healthy. Last year, he didn't even hit 1,000 yards. But I think that with Phillip Rivers behind that, their tight end, Hunter, I can't remember his last name. Their tight end Hunter, he's coming off an ACL injury. He's going to come back and be big for him. He'll be one of the top 5 tight ends in the league this year. I'll tell you that guy right now. But yeah, I see for that Kansas City will still make the playoffs. 10 wins, 11 wins, but I think the Chargers win 12 this year.
Okay. All right.
The AFC North. This is a big one.
So AFC North, Cincinnati, Cleveland, Pittsburgh, Baltimore. Cincinnati will be competitive this year. The problem is AJ Green being gone for at least 4 weeks is going to put them too much in the hole. But they have a solid team. They finally got rid of Marvin Lewis, so it's going to be extremely good for them to kind of get some new fresh blood in there, some new plays, kind of a new taste on how the program runs.
But I mean, compared to the improvements that Cleveland made, and then Pittsburgh's always a contender and.
So I think with Pittsburgh, Baltimore, and Cleveland, I think Baltimore's still a year or two away. They're excited about Lamar Jackson, but the biggest problem with them is they lost some key defensive players last year. Signing
That's
with
all
the way
they've done since their high point.
Terrell Suggs,
since the Terrell Suggs, Ray Lewis.
Yes, but if you look at when they had their high points and they lost all those guys, it generally
been losing guys ever since.
Well, it generally took them a year or two to recover after every time that they would hit kind of a peak with their defense.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying is they lost C.J. Mosley, who signed with the Jets, who is another huge pickup for the Jets. Terrell Suggs signed with Arizona. And they lost Eric Weddle. He went to the Rams. So there's a lot of players that left that team, a lot of veteran leadership that lost that team. So who's going to step up for them on defense? And Lamar Jackson, I think, just needs to refine his throwing a little bit more. They got, I think, 3 of their 5 or 6 receivers are rookie receivers this year. So it's really just kind of coming into play for there. They'll win some games. There's a chance they make the playoffs.
Yeah.
But I think there's still a year or two two
so
out.
You're saying Pittsburgh.
I'm saying
Or are you
Pittsburgh.
saying Browns?
I'm saying Pittsburgh and the Browns are going to be extremely competitive against each year.
Okay.
Cleveland's got a shot.
In the past, it was always Baltimore-Pittsburgh for the last decade or so. That's been the
I think Pittsburgh-
heated rivalry there.
Pittsburgh has the organization to continue to make that team good. Cleveland, it's new to them. So
Right.
I really think Pittsburgh takes it this year. I think Cleveland makes a wild card spot.
Okay.
But I think Pittsburgh takes the division this year.
Pittsburgh for the North.
Yeah, so Pittsburgh for the North.
Right at
Oh
market.
shit! I was
What do you-
not.
what
I
do you
was
like for
listening.
the
and I
South?
And for the AFC South, Tennessee, Indy, Jacksonville, Houston, this is wide open with Andrew Luck retiring.
Okay, I feel like that's a toss-em up.
So it is very much a toss-up. I'm actually going to go Houston for solidifying that offensive line a little bit more. I think Jacksonville has a very tough defense. I think Houston's defense is still good, but when you throw in DeAndre Hopkins, when you throw in a healthy Will Fuller for Houston,
Right.
and now getting Kenny Stills, the running back core, they lost Lamar Miller, which isn't really a big loss because he's not a great player anymore anyways.
Okay.
Duke Johnson, Carlos Hyde that they have in the backfield there, and getting Laramie Tunsil I think is going to be a huge pickup for them. Yes, they did lose their starting defensive end.
Laramie Tunnel?
Laramie Tunsil. He was the dude
Oh,
that
I
had.
thought that's how you exit New York.
He was
Go to
the
Jersey.
dude. He was the dude that had the gas mask on, smoking weed right before the draft. That those pictures came
Oh,
out like
I
2 years
heard
ago.
about that. Yeah, I didn't-
So,
okay.
but he is
So he's
one
a
of the
genius is what
he's
you're
one of the
saying.
best young
Yes.
left tackles in the league.
Smart guy.
And they have had offensive line trouble. So I really think that Houston will take it. I think Jacksonville is right there as well, but I do think Houston takes it at the
So
end just from the
Houston
quarterback
Texans in the
Okay.
AFC South.
So and now, what's your Super Bowl?
well, no, we need your conferences. NFC.
Well, that's the Super Bowl. Who's?
oh yeah.
All right,
you're
so-
right. Who's in the Super Bowl and then who
So
wins it?
who's going to win the NFC? Who's going to win the AFC? So I'll start with the AFC. Honestly and truly, I really believe that the Chargers are going to make it this year. I think the Chargers make the Super Bowl this year
What?
out of the AFC.
Mark it down now, folks. Oh, John's doing that.
That's crazy.
The, the
That's
AFC to me is
crazy.
actually one of the weaker divisions this year. Is weaker than the NFC. The NFC has so many teams that are playoff contenders, and they have even more that are Super Bowl
Crazy that
contenders.
it's kind of flip flop back.
So it goes back and forth with that.
Yeah.
And then with the NFC, obviously I love my Bears. God, it's really too hard to go against the Saints, especially if their defense is on that point. I think the Saints make it. I think Drew Brees wins it this year and he retires after this year. I think it's a great going away.
Saints all the
Okay.
way.
I think it's the Saints all the way this year.
Drew Brees.
I think
Gonna
I
do it
think
for the short man.
I think Alvin Kamara comes out the MVP of the league this year between receiving and running.
Wow. He's a
Okay,
second year
wow.
guy, right? Is his second year?
Third year.
Third, okay.
Yeah. So I think with him kind of getting that standalone in the backfield, I really think that he's going to have a dominant year. Not only that, but I have him on one of my fantasy teams, so God willing.
Again, bias. The bias bleeds through.
But I had my eyes on him the entire time, regardless if I had it or not, because I just feel he's going to have a huge year.
okay.
All right. Well, that's okay. So
We
that's
got it.
awesome.
It's marked down.
And then by the end of the year, we're going to see how correct you were. We were only agreeable in 2 divisions, and then I haven't figured out the rest after that, but
Yeah, and I don't know.
we didn't.
What is
agree on a
American
lot.
football?
That is insane. So we don't have too much time. Do you want to do the Digi Hears and then?
You got any digis?
Yeah.
Okay, let's go over a couple of them.
Okay, so did you hear? First things first. There was a $2 million online dating scam that a guy from New Jersey was convicted of.
Is that him in that photo I'm looking at?
Yeah.
What an idiot. Okay.
This one, yeah, I have an article.
We call it the Ghetto Money Ninja. Ninja.
He was.
Ninja. Let's clarify.
Oh, yeah,
Calm
yeah.
down.
Be careful.
Calm down.
Tread lightly. He was 35 years old.
He
and
is 35. Did he die?
No.
Okay,
he just
still
got
is
arrested.
35.
Yeah.
Confirmed.
He was and is 35.
He likes talking to his money like it's a phone.
He was 34 at a certain
If
point.
he was somebody you knew's brother, whose brother would he be?
No, I don't want to play this game.
Brother or brother? What you mean? But
I can't see the picture, so
Yeah.
I don't know.
this story is crazy though.
It's a good
I
question.
did hear a little bit. I heard about this. John told me pre-show, and I was like, "What?
Yeah, he was. He
This
was
happened in '97? What?
He was getting romantically involved with over 30 different people too.
Through online dating sites.
Yeah, and he was using money transfer services to get them to wire him money. And what he was saying was he was like in an army base or like was serving in the military and had to send gold back to the
gold
United
bars,
States.
and he needed money to
Yeah.
ship the gold bars back to America. And if you would pay for
I
them,
wonder
he
if
would
he's
ship you
related
a
to the
gold
Nigerian
bar.
prince that wants to.
Dude, I'm saying it's
donate.
the
I'm
Nigerian
saying.
buyback from 20 years ago. Struck again, and people are refalling for this shit. It's the Ghana buyback in this case.
Yeah.
The Ghana gold bar buyback.
Does it give like the age range on the people he was fooling out of this money?
That's what my first thing. Am I right, John? When you told me, I said it's all elderly people.
It's either elderly senile or it's millennials who don't fucking know any better.
That's what I'm saying.
How do you not know?
It has to be because like
I said he's the Ron Swanson swindler.
But then again, do millennials really have money to be able to give to this guy?
I'm going to mail you gold bars back. I'll dig them up from under the tree in which I buried them.
Yeah,
and I will mail them back to you.
I just need to pay the fees.
$10,000 in American currency.
And he said, they said he kept it for himself and his conspirators in Ghana. So he's from Ghana.
Rhea.
Well, yeah. There's a whole lot of diseased things going on mentally and physically. Yeah, and I just thought that was a crazy story. One of the victims actually ended up killing themselves.
She killed herself after she realized she was dumb enough to send
money
wired
to. I think $93,000 was what she
Ron
wired.
Swanson swindler.
All right, if there is any desperate people, man, woman, I don't care that you just need to be sweet talked a little bit and you want to send me some money, I'm down.
I'm always down. Never say no.
Cash App is Desperate Bears fan with 19.
my wife would sign off on it if you sending me money.
Okay, and what's the next one that we have? We have 500 people.
What do you got, John Hannon?
What? 500 people. I was like, what are you doing? You lean towards
I'm interrupting you.
I thought you were going to hit me or something. I didn't know what was going on.
Hang on, let me stop you from talking.
There's 500 people that were injured by stingrays off the coast of California. Over the course of a few days, but 500 people is a pretty astronomical
right
number.
On the anniversary of Steve Irwin's death.
Oh, is it? No.
Is it the anniversary?
I think today or yesterday was.
Are you kidding me?
I'm dead serious.
Happy anniversary. Wait. No, sorry.
Wait, is it? I'm going to look up when Steve Irwin died.
I'm telling you, it was within the last 2 days.
Yeah,
that's funny.
Because what they're saying here is 124 people were stung on Saturday. 64 people were stung on Sunday, another 42 on Monday. So the number, when I say 500, it was over the course of some time. But it is kind of insane to think about. I guess this is their mating season, or when they all get real horny.
That makes sense. Yeah,
they're all really
they get real aggressive when they're horny.
Maybe that's why Steve Irwin got poked.
Yesterday, guys, confirmed. It was yesterday as we record this.
Wow, what an untimely.
So where was Steve Irwin killed? What was the? Was it off California?
I thought
it was some crazy.
No, it was like
island.
Barrier Reef in Australia.
See, there you go.
That's a little different because the reason why that
they migrated. I wonder if his murderer was there.
Well, like the one stingray.
Yeah, the stingray that killed him.
Aren't they like bees once their barb breaks out?
No, really. Once their stinger's gone, they die.
Well, and I think the reason why
I'm here for sports. That's it.
So really, it's a double death anniversary. Steve Irwin and that stingray.
That's rough.
It was like Jaws Returns. Maybe like one of Steve Irwin's relatives was in the water, and it was one of those stingrays, like young relatives. Remember, like all the Jaws movies.
You're right. Yeah, it was by Jaws 18. It was like the grandson of Jaws.
It was like the great uncle's cousins,
it was,
nephews.
It was Baby Shark X2.
Yeah.
Yeah, supposedly they go to more southern coasts, preferably on the southern part of California because
warm water.
And there's less predators. Yeah, less predators, warm water, more calm over there, and then so there's oodles of stingray
Stingray.
Springray.
The word of the week is oodles stingray.
This is getting removed from John Hannon
I was thinking
now.
spring roll because I'm hungry.
Oh my god!
I was
for Asian food specifically.
And that stingray.
You want egg roll?
Came out of my mouth. I don't know what happened. Okay, the last did you hear that I have? Do you have one or no?
Yeah,
yes,
I got one.
No, maybe. Okay. Okay. So the Amazon in Brazil is. Every year, it always burns off quite a bit of its acreage. So it's really nothing new. But this year, it's kind of on track to break records with how much it's been burning this year. Because we're only a few months in, and then right now, I'm showing you this chart. Mm-hmm. But if you look at it, 2019 is since 2010, pretty much it's been pretty much a decade.
It's been up and down a lot, though.
Oh, yeah.
According to this graph I'm looking at, it's a bar graph, folks. And it goes like this. Yeah. And it's a lot of this.
And 2019.
It's like a heartbeat?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's
not flatlined.
It's over 75,000 burns this year. But since the year hasn't even finished, I think it's
about like Coleman's year.
It is definitely up over last year. What was that, a beard joke? I missed
that. No, he said 75,000 burns this year. I said that sounds about right for Coleman.
Oh, burn, sweet burn.
Yeah, and with over 75,000 burns, almost 80,000, if not more. It's been burning off a lot of acreage. And I don't know when, like, they say they're monitoring it and they're trying to keep track of it and control it as best they can. And I know some of it is, like, chalked up to, like, deforestation and people trying to get the lands to sell or grow crops on. But it's...
I hear it's
worse.
not as bad as it is. It is large, but it's more contained and controlled than they
It's
make
not
it
as
out
bad
to
as
be.
Leonardo DiCaprio wants me to believe it to be.
Yeah,
It's-
that
okay.
guy's he's trying to sell things. What things I don't know.
It's
charitable
usually-
things and movies.
Yeah, because it's always a thing.
Scorsese movies specifically.
I'm just saying.
You
This
can catch up on theater goers.
Once Upon a Time in the
right here
Amazon.
on Amplified Network on what day? Tuesdays at
Tuesdays.
8 p.m.
8 p.m.
Plugs are in.
No jinx, because I was just your echo man.
You were my echo,
during
not my
that one.
jinxer.
Yeah. Okay. What do you say we get on out of here?
Yeah, Matt, you got anything to plug before we roll out?
No plugs, guys. Some of y'all might remember me from 1K Away. Appreciate y'all having me back on here. I know we had you guys on our show a ton of times. Always had fun. So this is going to be awesome to get back out here and talk a little sports with you guys from time to time and
Glad we could give you an outlet.
just overall have some fun.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's not all going to be football.
He gets
It's
his
like-
own camera, guys. Look how much we love this guy.
I know.
He's got all that with his water.
And I have to sit I have to sit closer to you. This is the worst. I don't. No. Now he's giving me a noogie.
Ebony,
Yeah.
Ebony.
Ebony
Yeah.
times 2.
Screw it. And
Both of us.
yeah. So and you can find us Facebook or Instagram.com/funny2informing.
Wait a minute. When you guys be Ivory?
Funny2informing at gmail.com. If you want magnets or stickers or just to say hi. We also have the phone line, but we'll put the phone number out as we go live every once in a while.
Yeah, we'll usually kind of tell you guys to call in and join us for Did You Hears, which we
Yeah.
usually do kind of halfway through the show. So.
I'll let you guys know too if any of your reviewers, anybody has any questions in regards to the upcoming football season, whether it's betting, fantasy football, anything like that, and they want to tag it on your page.
Yeah.
I have you guys. I'll come on there and I'll answer any questions and stuff like that on my
The
opinions.
Coco Guru, ask him. He's not wrong often. I got to admit that.
Right.
I
You
do
can find him on grinder.com/footballs.
Mount chicken wow, no deflate gate here, baby.
Thanks.
Inflates only.
Thanks, Coco, for joining us.
Hey, thanks for having me,
We
guys.
hope you enjoy listening as much as we enjoy chatting and shooting the shit. You can laugh with us or at us. It really doesn't matter. And
Tip your pizza maker. The word of the week was bye week. It was said a few times. We
If
didn't
you-
get into the draft part of it.
Yeah.
If we'd have talked more about draft, we would have gotten some more bye weeks out of Coco over here, but that's fine.
If there were
we got plenty
shots-
more shows and plenty more shots to be done.
yeah, I think he did like 3 or 4 bye weeks. I
Yeah.
think is what you said.
So if you're playing along
there's
at home
few.
on a podcast and you can't see this, the word was bye week. Do 3 shots on account of that. Enough said.
We kept track for you. And yeah,
Bye till next week.
thank you. Yeah.
Next week,
So-
same funny informing time, same funny informing channel. I don't know. We'll get that worked
I'll
out.
see you in
too.
4 weeks, guys.
Yeah. We'll see you for FTI
Thanks,
Live
guys.
5. Thank you.
Welcome. We thank you for listening with us today. We ask that you please stow away and secure all important items. There are no emergency exits. So just sit back, relax, fasten your earbuds, and enjoy.
Coming to you from sunny Orlando, Florida, this is Funny 2 Informing.